If you're not bored watching the following video, you're doing something wrong. The reason your agency is stuck, you feel like you can't get out the current stage, and you're not able to make the money that you want out of Instagram Reels, is because you're searching for entertaining videos, videos that feel productive, that feel like there's such an easy solution to a problem. And this is not going to be one of those videos. So if that's what you're searching for, then you should keep scrolling. Now, I held an exclusive mastermind in my verified earners network where only agencies doing $10,000 a month or more were even able to join. And in this mastermind, I laid down the entire Instagram Reels system that I use, how to fix all the common problems you have, how to implement systems that will make you more money. And I had a Q&A at the end to even further fuel your efforts. This video isn't going to feel productive. It's going to be painful, dry, and a lot of theory. But this is the exact difference between an agency making 5K a month and 500K a month. Being able to get the value out of videos like this, implement them in your agency, and fuel your revenue. Have fun watching this video, take notes and implement it. This is the most value I've ever uploaded on this channel, and I'm saying this confidently. If you want the entire SOP behind it and the presentation template itself, DM me presentation after watching the video on Telegram and I will send it to you. Absolutely no problem. So stick by with this video. If you take your business serious, I'm sure you will get a lot of learnings out of it. Until then, have fun with the mastermind.
You're burning money, time, and attention doing Instagram Reels as you are doing now, at least with certain concepts that you try. Here, obviously, something is going wrong, and the purpose of this call and of this presentation is to figure out what's going wrong, how to fix that, and how to actually implement that. I'm not just going to tell you, yeah, be more interesting, or oh, just have a hook. I'm going to tell you how to do it, because this is what this group is for. First of all, obviously, take this serious. This is going to be you leaning forward like a true gamer moment, because again, this is the type of stuff that I'm not going to share anywhere else. So I basically spent half of my Sunday, I lied to you, not the whole Sunday, half of my Sunday, figuring out this presentation, the import I call with my team. So these slides are very important for you. Ignore your girlfriend, turn notifications off, and essentially be this giga chat in this picture, right? I'll take up 40-60 minutes of your focus, but I'm going to fix your IG Reels for you without asking for anything. Just imagine you paid me $500 for this call and this is what you get, which you didn't. You can still do it. And obviously, donations are appreciated. I'm going to share my wallet later. Jokes aside, let's get started. Now, most of you have the following problem because you treat Reels like a dump, right? We post a bunch of different concepts, well, a clear plan behind it. The creator films a bunch of fucking content, but you don't really get an ROI. So if the creator would work at Chipotle, they would probably make more money per hour than filming Instagram Reels. You're not only wasting your energy and your time, you're also wasting the energy and time of the creator, which is arguably more worthy than your time and energy. Because if you're like me, you have like 10, 12 hours per day that you can spend on work. The creator only has what, 4 hours that they can work a day before getting a mental breakdown. So if your creator wastes 2 hours per day, there goes 50% of your content energy. So it's super, super important that I realize the creator's just going to get burned out. We're never going to make money, right? We're trying to fix all of that in this call. So before all of us are going to be sad, this is what this is for. Now, basically, to start with the basics, every single reel has these 3 things that it needs in order to sustainably go viral, right? In our agency, we call it the marketing triangle, meaning this is what the content needs. You will see reels that get a lot of views that don't have all of these 3. But that's survivorship bias. All of you know these creators that just post a picture of the fucking toe and they get 1 million views. That does happen, but it's not reliable, right? If you have 100 accounts and you post 50 videos a day on each one, of course, you're going to have some viral videos. But our goal is to essentially not guarantee, but make it likely that the video either goes viral or gets more views than the video before. For that, we need to fulfill the marketing triangle. We need to have a certain look. That means how visually attractive it is to look at. Not only the creator, but the entire video and the value. What type of entertainment or reward do the people get? And the USP. What makes you different, right? If you look like any other creator, you get a bunch of views, but they don't convert. So these things are our essentials that we need to keep in mind when we look through this presentation, right? Now, what do I mean by look? Just to give you a definition, it's not about being naked, it's about attractive, right? And the creator itself, there's a bunch of creators, even in this group, that are objectively hot. Like most of you guys have hot creators, but they still look ugly on Instagram. So there's a difference between just being good looking and making the creator actually look good on Instagram. And that means, on the one hand, you don't want to look cheap. You want to look seducing and attractive. All of you guys know that if you see a chick that's wearing like a thong and a bra, for example, yeah, that's hot. But a chick wearing like a tight dress, like a dinner dress, you know, having her makeup done, having her hair in a certain style, that's attractive. So there's a difference. So our goal is to make our creator look mainly attractive, because I guarantee you most people don't find that half naked shit actually interesting. Everyone's doing that right now. So next of all, besides the creator actually looking hot, hiding her weaknesses and showing her strengths, aka your creator might be hot and having fat tits, but she has a bit of a belly. You know what I mean? She has that, she eats a bit too much donuts. So your goal as an agency is to make it, aka tell her which top to wear so her tits look massive, but also making sure that people don't see her belly. So her not wearing fucking crop top or something like that. This is your job as an agency. But besides the creator itself, you also, like, I think it's pretty obvious, making sure that the lighting, the angle, the presentation, the location also hook the viewer's eye. This is as important as the creator itself. You can put Megan Fox in an Argentina apartment, you're not going to get any views. But on the other hand, if you put a fucking fat fuck into a well-lit professional studio, you're also not going to get views. So it's a 50-50 split between the location itself, the angles, the lighting, the presentation, but also the creator actually looking attractive. Where the first correlation, I think most agencies know that their creator looks ugly, they just don't know how to fix it. Go through your own reels and actually look at it. Like, would I fuck her, essentially? Would I fuck this creator, yes or no? And the answer most of the time is no. Even for our creators. Sometimes this video sound like, she's hot and pregnant, this ain't it. Right. Next up, the value, obviously. Mainly, we want to see entertainment as the whole thing. So this can be humor, aka we just entertain, do a joke, or share something. Cool. Relatability can, for example, be anyone else, like something that people on a deeper level can relate to. For example, let me tell you, that one friend that you lent money to 3 years ago, and then it's like, oh, bro, I'm going to pay you back tomorrow, whatever. That is relatable to all of us, right? So basically giving people something to relate to and connecting to the video. Educational also, right? Give people actionable steps. For example, my YouTube videos would fall into that category more or less, saying if you can, for example, if you speak to OF subscribers, you want to talk to that girl and you don't know how, here's how you do that, right? That would be an educational video in the OFM sphere. People actually expect some actionables. Cool. Emotional triggers is the same, nostalgia, inspiration, whatever. I think all of these things make sense. Nostalgia could, for example, be ask ChatGPT or Claude, hey, what are the top 10 things that most Americans essentially think about when they think about their childhood? For example, as a German, because there's some Germans in this call here, nostalgia for us would be Pur Plus, Kika, these TV channels that you watched as a child when your mom and dad were fighting during their divorce and they set you in front of the TV so you don't hear about your dad cheating on your mom, as all of us can probably imagine. So these type of nostalgia things, you can just research, put them in the video, because that triggers people much deeper than the basic textual content, right? This is what actually goes viral. Engagement hooks, obviously. What I mean by that is if you start the video, we're going to go to hooks in a sec, but even just making people expect something that is about to happen. Easiest thing to give them value. For example, beginning of the video, someone in my mentoring did this recently, did a video where it was like POV, you misunderstood the gender reveal party. And then she was like naked. Okay, she's revealing her gender, haha, funny. But if you start a video like this, everyone expects her to be naked. How would you misunderstand a gender reveal party? How would that happen? So once you actually explain the joke, now they invest mentally into the video, aka they're much more likely to watch it again, to follow you, to remember you, to engage. This is why we give them value. It's not just to make the video interesting, but it's also making it much more likely that people make your video go more viral because they give you more watch time, more engagement, more following, but also much more likely that they convert. So this is your money-making KPI right here. Next up, as the last thing, as a definition, we have the USP, aka, okay, what makes her different? Because this is the converting KPI. This is what makes your video that has 1 million views convert to either 5 subscribers or 200 subscribers. So how do we make sure she sticks out from the crowd, right? Obviously, the smaller your brand is, the less easy it is, right? Because if you're still figuring out what videos work well for her, if she has 1 million followers, okay, that's easy. But especially in the beginning, you don't even need to have a whole fucking brand. You don't need to have a whole fucking, even making her videos stand out from the usual video type that you do. For example, let's say you have a gym creator, right? She just goes to the gym and you do gym content. I think a lot of creators do that. What you could do is make her wear high heels to the gym, or a certain shirt. You know, these meme shirts where there's like the Twin Towers on them and like whatever. You make her wear weird clothes to the gym, because now out of 100 gym creators, she's the only one wearing like high heels and a fucking 9/11 shirt. Now she's standing out from the crowd. People remember her. And it's like, ah, yeah, that 9/11 chick in the gym, or that chick that always wears the fucking high heels, because that's what everyone complaining about, right? So without a USP, your conversion goes to zero. Plus, your accounts are just not working for the future, because if you just do the same if you have the same standing as everyone else, the second your account gets deleted, people don't remember, right? And again, same on my YouTube. There's a bunch of very good OFM channels on YouTube, and while mine has been kind of shadow banned, I'm the only one dropping the N-word live, you know? So this is maybe the only part channel, but this is how you end up in this group of retards. So I always give this example. If you were at a Club 70 meetup, or you meet a bunch of fucking agencies, would people recognize a creator if you just tell it to them in like 1 or 2, 3 sentences? Like, yeah, my chick, this is the elevator girl. This girl that does dances in an elevator. For those of you who've been around on the TikTok days, you might even know who I'm talking about when I say the elevator girl. Do you guys remember her? I remember her being fucking viral. And this is your job as an agency, to kind of work towards that goal. It's harder to implement that if you have a smaller account, but this is where it essentially needs to end up, because otherwise you're just not going to be competitive. Now, obviously, if you do one of these things, then here's what's going to happen. If you only have looks and value, so the video looks interesting and it's entertaining, but you have no USP, it's going to be boring, and every single agency is going to copy you and probably be much more successful. So this is one of the things where you're going to get kind of good views in the beginning, but it's going to get worse, and your growth is just going to be wasted, because people are just not going to stick around for their account. If your video looks fire and has a USP, but it's just not entertaining, it's just going to get a bunch of views in the first two hours, and then it's never going to grow or go viral. If your video looks like shit, but it's entertaining, has a USP, you're just never going to go out of like the 200 view jail, the 2000 view jail, right? Your growth is just going to be stagnant. If you have all the three, you are looking at a fuck ton of money, and you can spend the next 3 months investing into hookers and cocaine or whatever you're into, right? So essentially, to put it into actionable steps, because I've covered a lot of theory, what can you guys actually do? Take your creator's last 5 reels, the last 5 that she uploaded, right? And put it into a Google Sheet. Do the boring tracking work that we all hate. We all hate it. I hate it. You hate it. Everyone hates it. And just say, okay, from 1 out of 10, how cool does the video look in terms of attractiveness, in terms of entertainment? Okay, let's say it's a 6, for example. Okay, now value type. How entertaining is the video? Which value type does it have? For example, being relatable, being entertaining, being educational. And how would I rate that? From 1 out of 10, if I'm watching this video, how entertained am I from 1 to 10? You have to be very objective with this, right? Ideally, scroll Instagram Reels for 30 minutes and then look up your own Reels and be like, would I actually watch this? And the answer is probably between a 1 and a 5. It's usually not above that for most agencies. In this group, I have a bit more hopes. And obviously for the USP, either say, is it visible? Yes or no. And you will most likely identify the most obvious issues with the marketing triangle. So you already see what you need to work on. That's the first extra step, of course. So this is essentially what you're going to be doing. You're essentially just going to do a bit of pattern analysis, to put it like that, of course. Now, as I already mentioned, conversion on the Reels matters as much as everything we've talked about so far matters, right? Because as all of you know, we've all had these Reels. Listen, I can share this case study right here because the trend is already that, but we've done, and I would say we kind of trend of CCTV videos. We bought a bunch of security cameras and put them into our creators' apartments when there was a filming day, obviously. And we kind of did these videos that looked like CCTV footage with a Snapchat text over it, like, I just wanted to pick up the food, and then it caught the creator, quote unquote, doing something sexual, something awkward happening. And these videos got a fuck ton of views. I think in the first week of doing this across the agency, we must have generated like 200 million views or something like that. Again, across all models, reposting it every single day. So we had videos with 50 million views, 10 million views, 5 million views, whatever it is. But the conversion was ass, because if you get a bunch of fucking views, but you get no conversion, this is where the issue happens, right? So our structure with this type of content wasn't optimal, because the content, to be fair, wasn't made for a personal brand. There was no clear USP. People didn't understand that this was actually the creator. They thought it was just a meme page. So just getting enough views work as a KPI. I know agencies that make 10K views per video max, and they make more money than agencies that do like 200K views per video, because the conversion is everything, right? So your structure determines if they visit the profile and if they have enough motivation and if you build up enough brand equity to actually make them convert. Brand equity is a word that I would write down in this current second, because all your reels do is kind of, you know, in video games when your character has like an ultimate characteristic, like if your ultimate strength goes to 100%, you can do like a special attack and you have to fill it up. This is what your reels do. So if your reels fill up the subscribers' brand equity kind of thing, he's at 100% and he's going to spend 20% effort to click on the profile. He will only do this if you entertained him enough, if you made him fall in love enough. Okay, clicking the link on the profile, another 20%. Then reading through the OnlyFans bio, another 20%, and actually spending money or clicking a button to subscribe is another 40%. Max after watching a video, they're never going to convert. Just to kind of put it into something to understand, if that makes sense. So to understand that, let's look very quickly at the marketing bridge, right? We have our hook, we have the middle of the video, and we have the CTA in terms of converting people to subscribers, right? So when you want to convert someone, this is the bridge that you have. And the most important thing here is for the hook, obviously, we want to get people to stop scrolling, interrupt the pattern, and create like an wow moment. Someone has to watch the first second of your reel and think like, what the fuck? You know, this is the thing. Instagram and overall short form content works over extremism. You have to do something extreme. People have to be like, what the fuck? You have to interrupt their scrolling behavior. You know, that type of stuff. For example, if I would be, let's say, playing Clash Royale right now, and you would try to get me to stop playing, right? You're sending me a message. I'm currently in a Clash Royale match, which I take very seriously. You need to send me a message to actually make me close Clash Royale, go on your chat. If you just text me like, hey bro, how you doing? I'll answer later. But if you text me, bro, you're never gonna believe what happened. And then, okay, I'm like, fuck, I'll answer. I'll have to read the message, whatever it is. So you have to create a wait what moment and get people to stop scrolling, interrupt the pattern. That could be, for example, I did not know this was possible, or like a super weird visual movement, something opening while the video happens, something that people need an explanation for later on. For example, someone just said, Ahmed, you're a real G. Someone texted me that exact text. That's actually fucking hilarious. Now, if you can either have, for example, a text saying, I didn't know this was possible, or you can start the video in a super weird angle, and then the video normalizes because the brain thinks like, I'm not used to this. What the fuck is happening? I think that makes sense. Now, for the middle in the video, obviously, you have to kind of deliver on the hook's promise, aka if you worked with something unusual, you have to make it make sense, right? If you say, I don't know, like, you will never believe what happened, then you will have to say, what happened? Have to kind of reward them. If you scam people, really deliver on the hook's promise, they're just going to scroll away and not like it. This is, in fact, why most YouTubers drop off, because this is why clickbait doesn't work. Because if you get people to clickbait, you get a bunch of new audience, but they never stick around. So you never have a loyal audience. I think that makes sense. So don't be clickbaity, actually deliver. Now, the middle obviously builds the emotional connection, makes them entertained, makes them understand the creator, makes them kind of more hooked to the creator itself, herself, right? They now feel like they know the creator and they remember her, will watch more videos of her, and obviously get them to not scroll away. Because the second the hook is over, you're in a competitive match against scrolling away. They just have to move their thumb a bit and they see more entertainment. So you have to be more entertaining than the idea of watching the next video, right? Now I will tell you this here, as you see in the slide, watch time is the algorithm factor. So the more watch time you have, the better. This is why engagement is so important, because most people think comments on the video is also going to rank them different. Comments matter, don't get me wrong, but someone scrolling through the comments or writing his own comment, that is all watch time. So the reason we do engagement baiting is not only to get comments, it's also to get people to stay on the video even longer, because watch time is what Instagram ranks the most, right? This is what they love, because you keep people on the platform. Now, for the CTA in the ending, you don't have this in every video, but you want to have a certain call to action. Now, you have to be a bit creative with this, because if you just say, I like a fucking YouTuber, like, hey, check out the link in my bio, that doesn't work for 95% of videos, right? So obviously, make it make sense. What we split tested is the certain CTAs. I'll just give you a few examples. For example, and by the way, like, please stop commenting about my last video. I have nothing to say about you. I have nothing to say about that. I will probably take it down. You can end the video like this. Now, Does it look a bit scammy? Fuck yeah. But there's going to be a super big increase of people checking out your profile, seeing the link. Or, and by the way, like I will delete the last thing I posted. Or, and yes, this is exactly what I was talking about in my last story. Or, yes, yes, you will find an example for this in my story highlights, but I'm not going to say more. This is the type of CTAs you can use. Just shout out something on your profile, make them click on it. So these type of CTAs, if this is more of like a potential fix to your problem and something you should do actively, but if you get a fuck ton of views and your conversion sucks ass, after optimizing everything I've said so far, this is going to be the easiest way to get people to subscribe, especially when you have a big account. You work with influencers that have a couple of million followers, that have a couple of 100,000 followers even. Doing this type of shit makes you actually use the audience that you have, because we work with, I think, over 40 or 50 influencers at that time. And most of them have hundreds of thousands of potential subscribers. They never actually converted because most people just follow the account and never check it out. This is how you monetize an audience that you already account, 20,000 people, 50,000 people. Implement this for a week and thank me later, because your conversion is just going to go through the roof. Now, obviously, I'm also going to cover TikTok a bit because the main differences here are the following, while I'll take a snooze. Now, obviously, you kind of do the same content. On TikTok, you have to be a bit more safer. You have to be even less sexual, right? That's going to be very, very important. But mainly on TikTok, pure views help you a bunch. TikTok ranks your videos based on the views as well. So on TikTok, you basically go based on how many videos can you post. TikTok is much more quantity over quality. I swear to God, because TikTok doesn't punish you for posting more content. TikTok literally doesn't care. You can upload 20 videos a day if you care. So on TikTok, you're just going to have a bit less video quality. You're not going to work with crazy concepts. You're just going to go broad. I can't recommend to work with TikTok for most people because Instagram is just better at that sense. Because Instagram rewards, like I already said, saves, shares, profile visits, engagement, whatever it is. So Instagram is much more focused on, if that makes sense, right? So Instagram is more complicated, but it rewards you higher. TikTok is a bit more simple. You can definitely pull higher output numbers out there, but the funnel is horrible. You have no audience on TikTok. Even if you have 2 million followers on TikTok, they're not going to see your videos half the time. So Instagram, more action, more reward. Just to put that here, because I got a bunch of questions in the end, like which one is the better. This is the main difference between them, even in terms of conversion. Now, as a second action step in this call, take a look at your best performing reel or the best performing reels in terms of the best views, the best engagement that you got, even the best subscribers. You think volume is bad for IG? One sec, let me answer that question as well. Volume isn't bad for IG, but you have a clear downside to it and you have to evaluate that yourself. On TikTok, there's no downside to volume. You can literally just post like 5 videos a day, 10 videos a day if you want to. On Instagram, after 3 videos a day, your views get less, in my experience. And also on Instagram, since you have such a higher standard of, like I already said, you have a clear CTA. Your videos are much more complicated to record. So you're also limited by the clear pipeline. You know what I mean? It's impossible to record 50 quality Instagram reels with one creator. It just doesn't work out. So it's not bad, but the trade-off is mostly not worth it. And I think as far as most agencies should be concerned, you're going to make more money with 3 or 4 accounts with 9 out of 10 content than with, let's say, 15 accounts with 5 out of 10 content. Guaranteed. This is what we've seen this over and over again. So for Instagram, the trade-off for most agencies isn't worth it. It's basically the last point on your scaling checklist. If anything else is perfect, then you can work with volume, at least in my experience. This is our agency philosophy on IG specifically. Now, to go to the action step, obviously, find your best performing reels. Okay, what type of hook did I have? What type of value did I give in the ending? And was the CTA in the beginning clear? Did people follow that? And you can already see a correlation, right? You can already see, okay, which hooks did work, which ones didn't. And I've attended a business conference in Miami for not even the OFM field, overall in general. And you would be shocked, and I really mean you would be shocked how much other businesses track these type of shit. I was talking to like an ecom guy who's doing like $1 million or 1.5 million a month. And the sheer amount of shit he tracked in his short form content made me feel like the biggest bitch ever, because he had 5 tracking sheets for every single hook. For every single, they track like, I think 20 or 30 different things on the content. Which type of hook did I use? Which type of wording? How long is the video? Which type of value did I get? Everything is what they track. And he told me just based on this, he was able to reverse engineer so much of his content that the videos he posts now are literally every single detail has been field tested for years. And this is why he's making 1.5 mil, which is crazy. So there's levels to the tracking that even I haven't reached. I just thought I'd put that out there. Now, obviously, engagement, which I've already mentioned, which I'm going to cover now, is very, very different on your videos. We have like the 4 main tiers, right? The best form of engagement, quality comments, aka people write full sentences, they invest time to comment. This is the best engagement you can get because A, they spend a bunch of time on the video. B, Instagram ranks these comments higher. And third part is, if someone scrolls through the comments while watching the video, he's going to take more time to read everything, aka your watch time, even on third parties, is higher. Shares and saves obviously helps to reach signals value, etc., etc. Also, I'm going to answer the rest of the question later on. Right. Tier 3 is just likes. It's quick. Instagram likes it, but it's nothing crazy. And the worst tier are like emoji reactions. You all have that, right? The flame emojis, the heart eye emojis. This is the 2 tiers that we don't want. We don't give a fuck about likes. We don't give a fuck about emoji reactions. If you upload a video, it has like 20 comments, but all of them are emojis, you fucked up. Because this is not the engagement we want. Tier 1 and Tier 2 are what we want to have in our reels. Now, the main engagement baiting methods that you can do if you say, hey, Oliver, thank you for the amazing call. Now, I want to have more engagement. What should I even do to do that? And here's the answer. Obviously, humor is the easiest thing. Do something funny, they're going to talk about it. For example, I never comment on Instagram Reels with my private account. I never do it because I just scroll Instagram Reels. I don't feel the need to comment somewhere. The only thing I comment on are Charlie Kirk Reels because I find them extremely hilarious. Like, you know, when they put Charlie Kirk's face on literally any person ever. This is my exact type of humor. Maybe I'm fucked in the head. I probably am. But this is what I comment on because it's funny. So humor clearly works. Now, relatability, we already talked about this, makes sense. You say something relatable and people are like, on God, or like, I swear to God, they tag their friend, whatever it is. Now, it's where to go from. This shit's hilarious. Storytelling, obviously, hey, this happened to me, and then people are like, wow, this happened to me as well, whatever. Scenario creation, what the fuck moments, explain what's that make not make sense. Rage rate, I think, is obvious. Controversy, I think, is obvious. Value delivery, I think. I'll explain that. Like I already said, that would be, for example, educational videos. Hey, you want to talk to a chick? Here's what you can do. Step 1, like, don't be named Oliver Smollett. Step 2, if you want to talk to a chick, don't have a YouTube channel with OnlyFans videos. Step 3, don't be in Club 17. Chicks hate that shit, right? Comment farming as well. Comment farming could be, blah, blah, blah. What's the craziest thing that happened to you? And I don't mean, hey, this and this happened. I really mean the thing that completely changed your worldview. And then people are going to comment. So these are different engagement methods that you can use. Now, next up, for humor, I'm just going to go through these quickly. Obviously, you make something funny, they share it, they comment on it, etc. People like your creator, it works most universal, right? Humor works for every demographic because in the end, everyone except British people has a certain amount of humor. So as long as you're not essentially targeting the UK, people will be able to laugh. So this is why I think it pretty much makes sense. As I said here in this slide, be specific with your humor. If your creator is super shy, super skinny, you know, like a cute little girl, don't do like Charlie Kirk jokes, okay? This doesn't fit her demographic. It doesn't fit her personality. What would she probably find funny, right? If you look at me, for example, I know I'm not a baldy anymore, but you can pretty much imagine what my humor would probably be, right? If I look at, for example, Sophie Rain, she probably likes cat videos and like kind of funny boomer memes, you know, like Gen Z type of stuff. If I look at a chick with like tattoos and that takes crack on the weekends, she probably has a more fucked up humor than me, arguably. So fit it to your creator because if the humor is inauthentic, it doesn't work. We tested it, it doesn't work. Next up, relatability. Obviously, I'm going to go through these quickly. Make sure they see themselves in the content. So you have to understand your demographic. If your demographic is 50-year-old truckers, then you can have humor like, yeah, when you pull up to the parking lot in your truck and then you have to shit, so you just shit your pants. I don't know what trucker humor is, maybe elaborate, but you can do shit like this, right? You can see some examples. Getting ready in 5 minutes before family arrives, and then it's like a sped up footage of her doing like 50 things at once, which in that case would usually attract females. So just to give you guys a little cheat code, also ask yourself, will this attract male or female viewers? So in that case, make sure it is made for males, okay? If you do this video, getting ready in 5 minutes before family arrives, and you do your makeup in the speed footage, chicks are gonna like it. If you do this footage and it's like cleaning up your room, cleaning all the trash, that is a universal male experience, right? So then you attract more males. So just to give you guys a kind of cheat code, always have that filter in your head. Do I actually attract chicks, or is this mainly for guys? Makes sense. Storytelling, obviously, make them invest in the narrative. Give them, this is the basic blueprint that we have in our agency. Give a setup, give a conflict, and give a resolution. AKA, I was here, this happened, and this is how it ended. This is how you do storytelling. Just a very, very basic thing. They want to engage, right? And also, don't always do the same type of stories. If you see that videos where she talks about dates, I know one creator that always does this. So I went on a date with this guy and this happened. Guys, if you see this, don't ever copy what he did. This is how she does her videos. But we noticed when I did my analysis on her, because I do my research as well, that the videos that kind of have the same story, they just don't go viral. They get basic views, but the videos that go viral are a pattern interruption, some people haven't seen before. For example, the main story she always does is, I went on a date with a guy and he said something completely outrageous and then I left. This is her basic video, and this never works. But if she does a video saying, hey, I went on a date with a guy and when he picked me up, he just slipped on ice, fell on his face, I couldn't stop laughing and the whole day was ruined, oh my God. This is what goes viral, because people can comment like, why would you do that? Well, everyone's clumsy, or chicks engage, you know? So don't always do the same thing. You should adapt, but don't copy the exact same thing. Just kind of understand the narrative that you're doing and find new variations of it. Scenario creation, obviously make them imagine themselves in something, right? So what would you do here? Or what I'd cook for you on a first date. Outfits I wear if I was a girlfriend. This is what, it might not get a shit ton of views, but it gets the right views. And out of the 10,000 views you get, you have double the conversion, double the profile visits, etc. So these type of videos work extremely fine. And even what happens sometimes, if they don't go viral or they get a bit below average views, you will usually have a much higher engagement rate, a much higher conversion rate. So here, again, views as a KPI don't work. What the fuck moments, I think that makes sense. This is essentially how I start every single YouTube video. Just make them completely think, what the fuck's even happening? We had what the fuck moments where the creators spilled a whole glass of milk over her head. And it's just like, what the fuck? Now, the main takeaway for these ones is, don't overdo it. If you do it in every video, it becomes normal. And people are like, oh yeah, whatever, another thing. So this type of stuff would once a week max. If you already have a good base following, do some weird shit in the background. We have an entire employee that just thinks of shit like that. Where, for example, if she has a dog, we just tell her, I don't know, like, let your dog do a backflip in the background if he can, right? Or if she has, let's say, roommate, just let the roommate walk in the background and like fall on her face without you noticing. So everyone goes in the comments like, anyone else notice it? You know what I mean. So what the fuck moments, easiest way to get views, but don't overdo it. This is makes videos most of the time. You can't in every video, other people get used to it, right? You don't want to be the next Mr. Beast. People are just like, oh, Mr. Beast dropped the nuke in India, I guess, okay, just another video. No, this is not who you want to be, right? The rest of it, I'm just going to give a quick overview just so you guys can see what I meant with that, what kind of risk of videos is. You can screenshot, I'm kind of explaining already, so we get to the next point. Now, if you say, okay, we want to use rage baiting video that also delivers some education. For example, you do a video about 5 worst things a guy can do on his first date. It's a speak video and she does that. Now, on one hand, you give them actual. On the other hand, maybe 4 talking point is don't ever, let's say, don't ever wear perfume. It's like so weird. It's so gay. Like, you as a man care about how you smell. Why would you do that? So it's rage bait and it's educational. Now, you should obviously select that, like I already said. How authentic is your creator doing that? What is their brand archetype, right? Does this actually fit the image most viewers have of her? Next up, what's my audience, right? It's impossible to know exactly who your audience is, but you already see it in the comments in your followings. If my audience, most of the time, is a bunch of old guys, I probably shouldn't be doing dating content because they probably don't date. They're either too old, or they're married, or they were married and now they're lonely. So I should do dating content. I should probably do how to talk to your children if they ghost you. This type of very niche type stuff. This is one of our creators. We noticed that she has a bunch of old guys, 40 plus years old. And we did a bunch of content about if your children don't talk to you anymore, this is what you can do. Super, super niche. We did like, I think 8,000 views per video, going from like 50, 60K views. But our subscribers went up. We made more subs than before because it was so niche that every single one who's seen it out of that audience basically needed to subscribe, right? And also sustainability. How often can you repeat it? If you have to go rent a fucking cinema or whatever to do this video, it's probably not eligible to make a repeatable pattern out of it, because your end goal with your reels is not only to get views, it is to build a repeatable pattern. AKA, if I upload a video today, my goal is that I can just re-upload the kind of type of video and just re-record it in 50 different variations and make views every single time, right? This is my goal. I don't want to just have one viral video and then be left with nothing. No. So for example, Mr. Beast one day woke up and was like, what if I just put 100 people in a certain situation and the last one who stays there gets a bunch of money? And now he did like, 20 videos like this? This is what repeatable patterns give you. They give you the opportunity to essentially plan out the next 3 months of content and be reliable while doing so. Now, third action step about that, for the next week, make sure every single reel of yours uses at least 2 or more engagement methods from the 10 that I just gave you. Track it in a Google Sheet or a Notion or whatever, and track which ones perform best, because you're going to see the combinations. It's like a video game. You know, when you have like PvP, use different combos, whatever. This is what will get your reels to the next level. Not just, I do more research, but actually tracking what works best. I guarantee you this is going to increase your views. If it doesn't, you have the permission to call me a racial slur in DMs. I will give it to you verbally right now. So your checklist before you post. Make sure, does the video style, or is it completely new and most people aren't going to like it? And also, is it recognizable as my creator? Same thing. This is something on my YouTube that I don't do well, because on my YouTube, this is where I have to be critical of myself, which I've noticed recently. I've changed video styles, locations, thumbnails, and titles so often, it's very hard to have an idea of an Oliver Smoller video, right? I was in my apartment in Warsaw, then I was in my house, then I was in my office. In the videos I recorded now, I'm in a different office that I rented, right? So my channel is not recognizable as Oliver Smoller's channel, which is an issue, which I'm about to fix. Next up, engagement potential. Does it encourage comments, shares, saves? Do you give people enough ammunition to comment on it, to share it, to save it? And also, do I have any form of CTAs, even passive CTAs? Like just mentioning like you do a dating story, right? Hey, I went on a date and this happened. Even just mentioning and yes, this is the guy from my story. Even just that would be a CTA. Do I have that yes or no? Then do viewers believe the creator? Do they believe it's actually happening, or does it kind of look fake? Plus, is the first second directly energetic? Lighting is on point. The first second gets me to get people to stop scrolling. Now, next up, obviously, before clicking the post button, watch your video again. And now ask yourself, would I stop scrolling for this? Is the hook in the first 1.5 seconds? Even better in the first 60 seconds, right? In the first 60 milliseconds. Forgive me, I'm fucking up numbers here. Which 2 engagement methods am I using? Is there a clear call to action? And does it look like my creator's content, or reel goes live without this? This should be a standard. And if one of these things doesn't, then tell your creator, hey, re-record this again. Do it again. It's not perfect. Or just don't upload it and be like, listen, you know what? I'm just going to post one less video, but I'm not going to fuck up my standards here. Now, also, I can recommend you this daily routine of doing at least some analysis work on your reels, aka you wake up, you check the performance yesterday, and you compare which videos perform average and which perform below average. So if every video does, let's say 10,000 views on average, one video got 20K, one video got 5K. Okay, what did I do different? What were the differences? So you can see what are clear do's and don'ts that my creator has. Give you an example. We have a creator, and every time the video looks sterile, aka white light. The video, like a hospital. Hospitals are super sterile, right? They look very cold, very empty, very white lighting. Every time we do this with her, the views plummet because it just doesn't fit her. But every time we have a very warm video, so orange, red, yellow light, there's a bunch of different toys and design things in the background. It just looks very welcome. It looks like a warm home. The views go up. So this is a clear do and a clear don't that I identified, right? And then I can put this into actionable steps. I can sit down with my marketing team and be like, okay, from now on, every video needs to have this lighting. Cool. I already implemented all of it in less than 20 minutes. And obviously, if something is completely wrong, like your video only got 2,000 views compared to the usual 10K, okay, immediately emergency meeting, what the fuck did we do wrong and how the fuck can we fix that tomorrow? Which learning can we take out of it? I do this every single day. You ask yourself why I'm so fucked up, why it takes so long to reply on Telegram. This is why. Because every single reel we post, I look at and I analyze before posting, after posting, and the next week as well. Now, So the fourth action step is install this checklist as a mandatory thing in your agency before you post, or if you work with a recheck system of the creators, aka when they record it and you can either give a thumbs up or improve it, make sure to have this checklist, because you don't want to post reels without running them through this checklist and being honest and strict with it. This is what gets your content up. And this is why I'm only mentioning it in this group, because in the main group, there's so many NGMIs, so many niggas who will never get this stuff running. They will not implement this, but I have trust in you guys that you will implement this, because this is what's needed to essentially scale reels up in 2026. Now, next thing I'm going to talk about is volume plus variation, aka how can I get more output without worrying my creator too much. I did a YouTube video about that like a week ago, so feel free to watch that, because I'm going to cover that fairly quickly because I do have that video online. Obviously, repurposing doesn't work anymore. I can tell you, especially if you're not trying to just get 2,000-3,000 views, but you want to get to like 50K, 100K audience, posting the same content, the same files, always gets you chain banned, always. Maybe not in a week, maybe not in a month, but in 2 months it's going to happen. And then you're fucked because you lose all your accounts. And this is when you go from to 2 figures. Now, also, what happens, and this is what most people still don't realize, you have 5 accounts and you post the same video 5 times. You all know this. There's a viewer that sees the first video, and if he engages with it, Instagram will show him the same video again from a different account, and then from a different account. So the guy is only going to watch the video once, and all the other 4 videos get less views. This is the reason why people complain about, hey, I feel like the more accounts I have, the less views I make. It has most of the time nothing to do with Instagram just penalizing you. It's just that your viewers see the same video like fucking 50 times, and they're only going to watch it once. So the more accounts and the more of the same videos you post, the less views you're going to get overall. This is the answer to that nobody says on Telegram, right? If I upload the same video on YouTube, are you going to watch it again? No. And the second video is going to go to shit. So how do we actually fix that? There's 3 separate solutions, obviously, have different variations per idea. So I want to do a video about I went on a date and this happened, right? So I'll have a different text on the video. The creator records it, let's say 4 different times, right? And the first time she has hook number 1, second time she has hook number 2, third time she has hook number 3. So we have the same content idea, but we just have all different variations, right? Minimal effort for the creator. She can just record the same video with a slightly different script again, but now we can actually repurpose it, right? Second of all, you can have completely individual profiles. So you have, for example, your 4 accounts, and every account gets their own video idea. You never post the same idea between profiles. This is more advanced. It definitely brings you more money. We do this with 30% of our creators, I'd say, and it definitely pays off. But it's obviously a much higher workload for the creators. So only do this with your top dogs, if that makes sense. And obviously, last but not least, essentially don't work over multiple videos, work over better videos. Like I already said, better to have fewer output, but to have better videos that are actual winners. There's also the AI solution. There's also the reposting over the remix talked about on YouTube, which you're going to find. So check out that video to kind of see how we have more output with AI and how we have more output using the remix feature on Instagram, which allows you to essentially just repost your video without punishment. Now, benefits of doing at least one of these solutions is your viewers get more value. They are much more likely to engage with the video. They're much more likely to convert. The algorithm doesn't fuck you. You're not risking chain bans because they're the absolute chain in the coffin of what is your agency, right? If you lose all of your accounts every month, you're never going to build equity. You're never going to build equity, because the worst thing that can happen on Instagram is if you have to start over again, because all your revenue plummets. You have to still pay your charges. This is what we're not trying to do. Also, if you have an account that sticks around for like a couple of months at least, you will actually see patterns, right? You will actually see what works, what doesn't. So you can also work with the data. If you have to create a new account every 3 days, you're never going to have data to work with. And you're basically in a downward spiral. You're stuck in the cycle of never knowing what to do and always getting banned for it, which is shit. The step in that case is every reel should have 2 variations, different hook, different text, and then you can A/B test which version works better. And yes, it's going to suck setting up the Google Sheet. It's going to suck having more work when you do the reels. But in the end, this is what gets the money in. This is why most agencies in the main Club 17 group will never make any real fucking money. This is why in this group, there's 600 members. In the main group, there's 13K. Because out of these 13,000 people, let's say probably less than like I think 3% of the main group actually were able to get to 5 figures. This is the exact reason, because you guys are still listening to this call. We still have the same amount of listeners than at the start. And in the main group, they would all be stopping to listen now. They would all be gone. They would all be back to watching YouTube videos and DMing people for sauce. This is the reason. There is no sauce. There's just basic analysis work. But obviously in this call, we're going to get to a bit more stuff like that. So our main 5 action steps that I've said are audit the last 5. What did you do? The best reel. What did you do the best? So you top 5 best reels, right? Reverse engineer what already worked. Use from now on 2 engagement methods per reel at least. Implement a checklist before you post and have separate variations per reel idea in the next 7 days. And watch your numbers. Watch your numbers. I guarantee you this is, if you implement all of this, your number's going to go up. This is the magic behind it. I can put a guarantee on it because it works every time. So quick recap. We have our marketing triangle. We have our marketing bridge. We have different engagement methods. We have a checklist how to post, and we want to use different variations.